Welcome back, everybody. It's Robert Ridpat from Health Synergy, and I have a question for you, and this is kind of fun today. My question for you is, what makes you happy? Do you know what makes yourself happy? See, interesting enough, most people don't. And there's an interesting book written called Stumbling Upon Happiness by Professor Dan Gilbert. And he wrote about how most people don't know what makes them happy. And interesting enough, those that thought they knew, they were wrong. So this whole idea of happiness is really important. It's what we want in life. And in today's training, I want to kind of go through 3 things that are maybe preventing you from being happy. So let's take the brakes off forward progression, if you will, and make our life unfold easier. So you ready for this? So the number 1 reason for not being happy, many people postpone happiness. And have you ever heard or said this to yourself? I'll be happy when ... or when I have or achieve something X, I'll be happy then, right? So what happens is we set these really high standards for things that have to happen for us to be happy. And happiness is not something to be acquired. It's in the now. Happiness isn't in the future. It's something that has to be experienced now. Either you're happy or you're not. So, can you think about this? Can you go about your day happily achieving? So instead of, when you hit all these targets, you'll be happy, can you go about your day happily achieving, right? Now, because of how we live life, when we think happiness is going to be in the future, then never happens. And what we do is we end up living in a constant state of unhappiness. So if you aren't happy now, you're probably not going to be happy in the future. The time to be happy is now. Just think about this. Eckhart Tolle wrote a book called The Power of Now. So become present to the now. Become present to the here, right now. So, number 2, why many aren't happy is they're going about their lives trying to make other people happy, right? They're living or they're chasing other definitions of happiness. So they aren't really being true and authentic to themselves. And it's been well documented that many people are either trying to make others happy, your parents, family, counselors, bosses, and so on, or they're chasing definitions of what happiness is imposed by society, by the media, by our culture, or by our parents or others. And this can be what? It can be subconscious. You aren't even aware of it. So we need to flip this around and make happiness a conscious choice. So I ask you, what is your definition of success, and how are you defining happiness in your life? So what is your definition of happiness? Something to think about. And so now number 3. And number 3 reason why a lot of people aren't happy is our brains, we do this thing where we're comparing or we're contrasting ourselves to others. Think about this. What is happiness? I mean, really, where does this come from? What is happiness? Happiness is something you generate within yourselves, in your brain. So it's kind of an illusion, right? Like we make up this idea in our head that we're happy. And we only know if we're happy by taking our idea, our concept, and comparing it to something else. That's contrast. So we often compare it to what? To other people. And spending time on Facebook, for example, has been shown to make many people unhappy. Because what do people post on Facebook? How terrible their life is? Or just the highlights of the good points. So people start thinking, man, I can't keep up with the surreal Facebook posts that everyone puts out. They're always putting out good stuff. They can't keep up with that. They don't put out the crap. So all of a sudden we're comparing ourselves to this high standard. We think, oh my gosh, my life isn't like that. So it's kind of depressing. So maybe don't spend as much time on Facebook and take it with a grain of salt. And remember, happiness is not derived from the outside world. It's something you get from the inside. You generate it from within. So happiness can only be generated from within. Happiness is a state of mind that we have. You have to choose to be happy. You go about your day happily achieving. Now, to help you with this, the best way I know to generate happiness within myself is by focusing on all the good things in my life, all the great people in my life, where I'm at, and who I've become as a person. And I would suggest to you, maybe you try that. Start thinking about who are the good people in your life. Who are you now as a person? Just think about 1, 2, 5, 10 years ago who you were and where you are right now. And something else, this might sound kind of hokey, but it's about appreciation. And I like riding my bikes. And when I'm out there, I get my endorphin rush, I get some exercise, I get to socialize, I get to get fit. And I just love my bikes. I love riding. So every day, if I'm feeling blue, all I have to do is go look at my bike. And it's kind of a little personal here, but I look at this bike, I think, man, this inanimate object, this material thing out there, this bike, it gives me so much pleasure. And I'm very appreciative of that. So maybe you can find something like that as well in your own life. So happiness is born in gratitude, being thankful. And think about this. Once it's born, that's the hard part, getting that baby out, right? But once it's born, you can nurture it, you can grow it by discovering and adding to it things and experiences that you're already happy with and that bring you more joy, more happiness, and more exhilaration. So I have a question for you. What can you do to boost your happiness right now? So as an action plan, today, I want you to choose to be happy. Remember, happiness is a state of mind, and you can continually choose to be happy and happily achieving. And to do that, I want you to make a list in your mind right now of 5 people who you're grateful for. Or maybe 5 experiences that you feel really deeply appreciated for and that you feel really grateful that they happened to you in your life. And for some kind of extra goodness, if you will, choose one of the 5 people that you're grateful for and tell them why you're grateful for them. Tell them how lucky you are to have them in your life, right? And as a result, you're going to spread happiness from your heart to theirs. Like, how nice is that? And a little bit further, I'd like you to kind of think about this idea of lightening your load. One other tip to boost happiness, let go of resentment and bitterness. And how do you go about doing this? Well, you can have more forgiveness in your heart. Tell somebody today that you forgive them for something that they may have done in the past. When you hold on to things like that, that resentment generates that bitterness, that's a poison, a toxic poison. And you got to release and let that go. And you do that through forgiveness. So it's very healing, and it helps lift your spirit, and it lightens your load, and it reduces your burden. So offer up some forgiveness to other people. So I'm Robert Ridpath. I'm with Health Synergy, and I hope this video has served you well to help boost your happiness, giving you some things to think about today. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.